Hey guys.
Evening, Marin. Welcome back.
Thank you. Okay guys, how do you feel? Much better? Are you ready for the market? Who is on the market?
Only what?
Okay guys, so technically you will, like, your class today will be the new class for this kind of class. So that's, I just developed this material and like a special like for your class. So you will be the first who will actually will be doing this one with me. So when not only me, like with all like mentors, Dennis, Evgeny, we were thinking about the class. So we, and like once like we were talking with you guys, like say guys like ask you question during the mentorship session. So we find out that like you like know everything about the process at the start, but at the end of the course, you know, like guys, you're not really, I wouldn't say you're not familiar, but you forget something. So we make a decision to like do a recap all whole life cycle. So, and we will try, I will try to give you this information and you will try to remember this one. And your homework will be repeat by yourself what I will be doing like, and like telling you today right now. So today class will be day in the life of a QA engineer. So that's exactly what I'm doing each day. Like sometimes it will be like different, like not totally like in my presentation, but it's really similar. Okay, guys, so that's our agenda for today. So 45 minutes we will be learning, and then I will again describe you the homework, and then you will have 10 minutes to ask me questions, any questions you want. Okay, guys, so day of QA. Each day in the life of QA engineer is different. And yes, it's being in QA means you never stop learning. I hope you know it already. So yeah, don't be surprised when you test in your product using different browser devices or acting even like different user roles. Today you will be QA and tomorrow you will be business analyst or product manager. Who knows? So yeah, let's go through the day of QA. So guys, before I will start this one, I will give you a small example from one interview. So our student, she's brilliant, like technically. She was interviewed by one famous company and she didn't actually pass the interview. Not technical part, personality questions. What does it mean? So she was not, I would say not nice. So some of her answers was like people who were interviewing her just feel like she's like kind of rude. So even she was brilliant, like technically, she didn't pass the interview. So guys, please be nice during the interview. Share your smile, share your, I don't know, inspiration, how you're really happy to be on this interview and how you really wanted this job. So that's really, really important. I hope it will help. So technical, it's a lot, but it's not enough. Remember this one, please. So let's go. Yeah, so typical day, my day starts from the good morning to my team, coffee and smile. And after, what I'm doing, like I'm checking my Slack messages. So I have a Slack channel and not only me, so with a lot of group. So we have a lot of project and for each and every project, I have a Slack channel. So my first thing during my commute or when I came to the office, I'm checking Slack messages to make sure I didn't miss anything what wasn't, for example, an email. So only after I check all Slack messages, I'm reading my emails and see what in maybe it's invitation for the meetings, maybe something else, maybe ask for regression, so whatever. So Slack messages, send reading emails, or you can do opposite, up to you. Usually it took me around like 1 hour, like, you know, people is coming like, hi, how are you? So typical like work communication. And then usually it's like stand-up time, around 15 minutes. So you know already how stand-up is going. So each and every person will like exactly like standing up, and each and every person share what was done yesterday and what I'm going to do today. So what I'm doing during stand-up. So I'm usually describing, yes, what on which part, which ticket I was working yesterday, or maybe it was a release day, or maybe it was a regression, no smoke, and how it happened, and what I have in on my plate today. Or if I'm, for example, sometimes it happened, I don't have anything in my queue, I can say, okay guys, like free today, I can help with anything what is coming. So I can help, like maybe mentoring someone, can create some documentation, so whatever, like task, we always have a task and work to do. So that's how it usually happens. So, but guys, let's go more deeply technical. So what I want you to describe right now, how exactly like 2 weeks sprint looks like for QA, not for anyone, for QA. So, and usually it goes something like this. So guys, right now I will be describing you the day of QA, day first. If something is not clear, you can immediately ask me, okay? So during the first day of iteration, so we understand iteration, that's the first day of the sprint. The highest priority stories are picked up from the product backlog, means you're taking it from the JIRA. The QA, along with the rest of the team members and product owner, works to define the acceptance criteria for each user story. Also, high-level questions should be asked on this moment, and acceptance criteria is a written part of each story. So means once you took the ticket from the backlog, you open this one, and there is a success criteria field in this ticket, usually supposed to be in. So in this ticket, you're definitely supposed to see acceptance criteria. For example, on this page, users supposed to see this image, or the text, or credit card or payment method supposed to accept MasterCard, Visa, Amex, Discovery, so whatever. So acceptance criteria, that's the must-have of your ticket. So if it's not there, you're supposed to ask. In the second part of the planning session, the testing tasks for each story are identified and estimated. So you know already how to do it. Yeah, we did it like with the JIRA a lot. So some typical testing tasks are like define high-level tests for automation team, or just for the team, like write automation suite, perform exploratory testing, create test cases, or generate test data. Guys, how you understand generate test data?
Create maybe login, emails, password, something like this one.
Yeah, close. So for example, your testing will require payment. So you're supposed to make sure that you have all credit cards which require to your acceptance criteria. So you're supposed to have a Amex, Master, Visa, Discover, what your company will, like PayPal account, for example. So this data is supposed to be prepared, yeah. If your data, if your testing will require login, password, like some, not just test credential, some specific credential. You know, guys, for example, if you're working on maybe like closed project, like kind of secret, you will not be able even on QA to log in with any like random email or password. So it's supposed to be something that will let the system know that your user who allowed to be in. So maybe this one, or you need API collection, for example, to generate accounts. You remember, yeah, guys, how you use Postman for account generation. So that's also, you have to have a collection, you have to set up everything to generate data for the future testing. Why we need this one? One exact testing is coming, like one code is done, you don't have a time to do this data, generate this data. You have to be prepared. So that's what we trying to do the first day, at least to find out what we will need. Okay, so day 2 and day 3. So during those days, QA has a conversation with a product owner. So it could be product manager, project manager, business analyst, whatever who played this role in your company, to refine acceptance criteria for each story. The goal of this conversation is to leak details of what is expected from each feature. This conversation may go on the following days. So for example, guys, you read the tickets and you see that you're not really clear on the requirements. So yes, that's the part of your job, to go to the product. Like, I mean, not physically go. I mean, by email, by Slack, you have to go and ask, hey, I'm not clear. Let's discuss the feature. I'm supposed to understand how it should work, what I'm supposed to test. Really important. Also, during day number 2 and day number 3 of the sprint, QA starts write acceptance tests based on this ticket, based on this requirement that you got from the backlog. So this is a collaborative task that helps drive development as developers start focusing on the writing the code to pass acceptance tests. So, which is simple. So the acceptance test writing will spend like a few days from you. For example, definitely it depends how many tickets do you have in the backlog, but should be like 2 days. That's enough to like go through all of them. And if you're already pro and you know how to create as much test cases as you can, it will take 2 days. So yeah, this process may also trigger new questions and new conversation with the product owner to clarify acceptance criteria. Why, guys? I will explain it to you. So, don't be laughed, but when you start writing your test cases, so you're not only using exactly requirements. So that's your imagination. You're trying to test some feature on immediately right now. And once you write in those test cases, so something definitely you will have a questions. That usually happens. Even your acceptance criteria is brilliant. So it could happen. So yeah, once it happened, you have to go again, ask your product owner. So guys, and that's fine, that's normal. You don't supposed to be hesitate, ask the questions, because the main idea to develop the quality product to the user, and only how it's possible. You're supposed to know what exactly a feature is supposed to do. Once you know it's clear, you will be able to write test cases and test it. So that's the success. Guys, question about the day number 2, day number 3? No? Okay.
Nope.
Cool.
No, Marina, how do we actually write the acceptance criteria? Do we write it by ourselves or in a team?
No. You're not doing acceptance criteria.
Oh, okay, that's what I thought.
No, as I mentioned before, acceptance criteria is supposed to be in the ticket, there will be a field. It's field generated by Jira, it's possible. And the name of the field will be success criteria. That's exactly how a field's supposed to be named, or acceptance criteria. I don't know how it will be set up in your company. So guys, in test cases, which field will show you which step will show you that where I'm supposed to put this acceptance criteria from the ticket to which step and the test cases. Tell me exactly the steps. What is the acceptance criteria in the test case? Which step? Numbers a step.
The last step, expected result.
Yes, correct. So then user able to log in. Then user, the payment is successful, yeah? So that will be exactly on your acceptance criteria. It will be something like this. User is able to pay with Visa card. User is able to pay with MasterCard. Or, for example, code acceptance like between 3 and 4 digits, or expiration date, accept only numbers. So that's acceptance criteria. In this case, then and accept expected result in your test case will be then expiration field accepts only numbers. That's it. So that's easy, guys. Just remember that brilliant ticket with requirements and acceptance criteria will automatically populate clear test cases. So before write those test cases, you're supposed to be clear with this ticket. So you're supposed to, if you read this ticket and you still don't know what's supposed to be in your test case, you're supposed to go and ask, maybe like sometimes developer, sometimes product, you will see, depends on your situation, but ask. That's the secret of success. So day number 4 and 5. So day 4 and 5 are exploratory testing. Like we just finished test cases and we trying to just find out how our application works from the user perspective. So that's when exploratory testing begins, and the coding of the first story is already completed. So yeah, first, guys, yeah, that's no secret, you know it already. We're making sure that happy pass test pass, and QA gets to use his creativity to discover conditions that no one may have thought of, like test, I don't know, as hard as you can with any negative test cases. So yeah, exploratory testing typically goes on until close to the end of the iteration. So even if you already like tested all happy pass, so still use your imagination, use your out of box thinking way. So try to definitely like test your application as negative as you can. As guys, you know, like from the negative testing, we able find out a lot of bugs, not from the happy pass, because developers say usually develop the happy pass, but sometimes we don't know how a user will be interacting with application, or if our application integrated with different application, we don't know exactly what could be happen between this integration small part. So yeah, we're supposed to interact as hard as we can on those exploratory testing. I would say it's not only exploratory because it's also kind of functional testing. So that's the combination. I would say this exploratory and functional testing. So that's what's supposed to be happen on day 5 and day 4. Okay, 6 and 7. So yeah, as soon as more stories coded, the QA starts perform tests that verify combined functionality to make sure the new user stories that have been implemented integrate smoothly with existing ones. And what is it, guys? How will we call this one?
Integration testing, no? Well, functionality testing.
Oh, can you repeat, Marin?
Guys, so make sure new user stories that have been implemented, you already tested this one before, integrate smoothly with existing ones.
I think what is right is integration testing.
Regression.
Oh, I thought integration testing is more like third-party APIs, right? It's not actually.
Oh yeah, guys, that's close to regression testing. So we know, yes, that like regression, it's not just only one type. It's multiple types of regression testing. For example, you can regress like full application, like from first dot to the last one. But sometimes you can regress just new feature and everything around. Like you will know how your feature implementation is related from the other parts of application. So that's usually discussed on this day 1 and day number 2. So you will already know how your regression will look like. So day 6, 7, we can say that's kind of regression one. So yeah, this task will go on the least couple more days or if it's like full regression, guys, it's even weeks. But in this case, your sprint not will be 2 weeks. We'll discuss it later. It will be maybe longer. So that's kind of, but if we aware of full regression test, and maybe it's like partial regression. So yeah, couple days, like between 2 and 3 days. So that happened day 6 and day 7. Day 8 and day 9. So yeah, on those days, we assume the development of all of the stories is done. So that's the guys our like happiest thinking. So 8, 9 days, it's like development is done, and that's the time to run end-to-end tests to verify real scenarios. So that's kind of close to full regression, but I would say it's not only like a regression of whole application. We still have to verify like our new feature from the end to end. Yeah, that's why I call it like end to end test. So once we did like full regression, we made exploratory first. We still have to make sure, like before the end of the sprint, like when code like frozen for like definitely like there is no development anymore. We have to run end to end tests. So, and we will go through all real life scenarios. So what's possible. So yeah, all of this test is to check that all new functionality increase the value of software and ready for delivery. So that's exactly our acceptance criteria in this case. We're supposed to make sure that everything right now, what in our QA branch, ready for delivery to the production. Does it make sense, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Cool. So, and day number 10, final. So yeah, on the last day of iteration, we demonstrate the stories to the product owner and get his or her acceptance. So that guy is called the demo meeting. So demo meeting usually requires some setup. So yeah, before this demo, like usually it's demoing by maybe it's like Scrum Master or QA lead or developer lead. So, you know, someone is on charge. It's not supposed to be exact some person. So someone who is ready. So, but if it requires some test data, that's a QA team responsibility to generate this data. But usually, you know, right now, technical project managers is so good, like so technical enough, they able to also do some data generation even without you. Like, for example, in my company, technical project managers, they really free with API, so they also know that some really cool testing techniques. So in this case, my QA help, it's not required. So, but we don't know how it will be in your company, so let's pretend you're supposed to be also helping to prepare in the demo. So yeah, before the demo, again, like 1 hour before the demo, you have to go through the application, make sure it's ready for the demo, that features that are going to be presented in this demo definitely works. So make sure, guys, that's your face, not only developers in yours. So that's the face of the whole team. So, and you on the charge. So make sure it's definitely works. You know, like oops, sorry, we will fix this one. So not really good, yeah. So yeah, the whole team focusing on generating the polished version that can be present to the customer. So once we demoed this one, everyone is approved, or might not. They can say, no, you know, guys, you did it, it's cool, but we thought about this feature like a little bit different way. Let's change it and we'll do different one. And what you guys will do, you will start your sprints from the scratch and developing exactly what they wanted to do. It happens. So you don't have to take it personal. That happens often, I would say. So that's fine. That's just normal, the part of the QA life. Okay,
is this demonstration, excuse me, is this demonstration happens before the release, right? And after
before the release, definitely. You cannot release your and demo it.
Yeah, but I have a question then. So that's, you show demonstration on a test environment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Definitely. How you can show it in production if it's still not live?
Well, yeah, or staging, I guess, right? So staging environment, that would be.
Guys, so honestly, I'm not seeing any difference between QAs and staging. Like I see difference between development and QA environment. The difference is developers testing on development environment, QA testing on QA environment. But when it's merge everything to the QA. So I'm not really using right now or before in my previous experience exactly the staging. Some companies still using. So we have like link that like /QA, link /development. That's it. So, but usually all testing, even developers, they come in to test on QA because we're trying to keep QA mirror into the production. There is no garbage. I would say like, so when we're demonstrating something, we're demonstrating it's on QA. But guys, so many companies, so many approaches, so you never know. It might be staged, it might be QA, or whatever how they want it called.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, guys. Any? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Does the developers run in the same sprint with the QAs, or they start earlier?
No, they're not starting earlier. So the first day, let's go back to the first slide. So you see the sentence. During the first day of iteration, highest priority stories are picked up from the product backlog. It means it's not only you picking up the story for the testing. So first, the story picked up by developer. So this story will be assigned to developer first, but you will also see this, you know, I don't know how it will be in your company, but even story in development open, QA team still has a like separate column or a separate folder in our tool where we keep in requirements and creating based on these requirements our test cases. So we're working together. They coding, we writing test cases and learning acceptance criteria and learning about the product. So it's here, this one. We are doing it together. They coding, we creating test cases and learning the product.
So who usually catch up? Developer start trying to catch up QAs, or QA trying to catch up developers?
I'm not really understand your question. Catch up on what?
Кто кого догоняет? Девелоперы догоняют QA или QA догоняют
Okay.
девелоперов?
No, usually I wouldn't say, I would say if, for example, it's like requirements like done once and there is no change. Like, for example, they coded something and there is no additional requirements from the product that we need to change something. So we just on time. There is like no, if something is behind. But usually developers behind because sometimes we just have to wait like as a QA team, and not because the developers like stupid or bad or lazy, because guys, that's the process. So sometimes they code it and then like last minute requirements came, that's it, they have to redo it again. And sometimes, you know, guys, buildings from the scratch, it's easier than redo something already existing, unfortunately.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, sometimes we have to wait and be patient, but guys, if we have nothing like to deal with upcoming feature, believe me, you will always have work to check your test cases, work with the documentation, update your wiki pages. Believe me, guys, there is never was like second in my career when I just was able like to came and just sit like this if I have nothing to do. I have always something to do. That's also definitely like my personality. I cannot just like say it like this, it will be boring for me. So even if it's nothing, I will find out. Maybe for someone it's like too much, but for me that's fine.
Oh, excuse me, Marina, I have a question.
Sure.
What kind of participation do you have in developing a test plan?
So test plan like a huge, if it's like a huge document, like you mean, like we're not doing it all right now. Before, in previous company, my participation was really active because we have to define the scope. So right now, what we're doing, so we just working on huge test case library for any type of possible scenario. So for example, related to environment, like I mean software, we already has everything, all possible devices in the world, like laptops, any devices, iPads. If our future upcoming testing requires some new devices, so we just send in a email to the help desk and saying, guys, we need just new device. That's it. So scope of the test, and we just discussing between leads, between managers. So that's not really a huge documentation. So what we're doing. So if it's like something related to test data generating, so we need some new technologies. We need to maybe create some training for the team. That's we're doing. So we're creating wiki pages and we're doing training for the team if it's like upcoming testing require new technology. But usually we're just making those decisions on the meetings. So, and during the meeting, exactly, we're creating like notes for each and every person who will be in charge of particular task, and that's it. So for example, I will be on charge on this part of the training, second person will be on charge of different part of the training. That's it. So that's how it's test plan. So we're supposed to figure out, do we have all equipment? If yes, forget about this one. Do we have all technologies? Yes or no? Each and every person in our team know how we will going to test and familiar with the technology? Yes or no? And test case creation. So usually all team just picking up and like these requirements from the backlog and creating test cases. So that's how the test plan. So I would say my participation is really active, and each team in my team member also like active, because you know it's really important when everyone is involved, because you can propose something interesting idea. So like for future, my advice, definitely don't be like shy. Always try to be like active first. You will show that you really care, and that's definitely will be your opportunity to present yourself like a person who will be probably in the future in charge of the huge task and like possible lead QA.
Marina,
Yes.
I have a question. Can you clarify one more time about our story tickets? When the sprint started, we need to pick up product ticket stories from product backlog, but who should give us tickets, some tickets or tasks?
So, for example, there is a couple ways possible. For example, so that's the Jira, you know, the Jira view. So in to-do task, you will see, for example, some task, and developer first pick it up the story. So once the story under developer, you cannot reassign it to yourself. But you can, for example, add yourself as a watcher and still also work in this ticket, like based just when he's coding, you still see already acceptance criteria in this ticket. So you will be working together on the same ticket, but for example, ticket will be assigned to developer in this case. So to you, this ticket will be assigned only after all coding is done and send it to QA for the testing. Also, there is a second option. For example, you will have a tool where you will be writing your test cases. So this Jira ticket, which already in developer, will also be saved in this tool. And like you will see it, like, I don't know, some pop-up will tell you your requirements came. And in this tool, you will be open this ticket and just do not pay attention like it's assigned to someone or not. So this ticket in your tool. And once you open this Jira with the requirements in the same tool, you will be creating test cases based on these requirements which came to this tool. How this requirements is actually coming to the tool. So in Jira, there is, guys, labels implemented. Yeah. So for example, your product manager or project manager will add, for example, QA label. And by this label, usually Jira integrated to multiple tools like TestLink, TestRail, QTest, QMetry. So all these tools have this possibility. So once a project manager in this task will add label QA, it automatically will be not only in a backlog, it automatically will came to this tool. So, and that's how you will know that this Jira is supposed to be tested in the future, and right now you're supposed to start to write the test cases. Did I answer the question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Marina, who is usually create stories?
Oh, product.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Marina, I have a question. What kind of automation on your company you do? Maybe not you, maybe somebody, but what kind of automation?
What do you mean? What kind of?
I mean Selenium or Cucumber or that's.
Guys, so there is a lot of technologies for. I wouldn't say that we have only one project. So, and right now, and in my previous experience, there is multiple projects. So, and sometimes one project requires one technology, second project requires one technology. But guys, as you know, usual stack is like Java, Selenium WebDriver, and or TestNG or JUnit. So continuous development tool, that's usually Jenkins in my experience. So it's a lot of yeah, in previous my company we also use Cucumber, and like it was a lot of automation on SQL actually. So many guys options. So just do not focus on something one. You never know, like right now I'm already maybe like third person keep telling me that like automation in JavaScript, that's the future. And I don't know if he is right or wrong. So if you're like asking me about the exactly automation stack, so we have like multiples, not only one. Depends on the project needs.
I just want to know the direction. If I want to go to automation, I just want to know what kind of just.
So first, your direction is supposed to be forget about automation and find out first QA job. So and you know why? It's not just because once you will be really in QA manual, it will not be just manual. You still will be using SQL API. Still some tickets will be required. The code knowledge, at least JavaScript. So once you will have this experience, later you will know definitely what you exactly wanted to do in automation. So right now it's a little bit too early to make this decision. That's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, Java is really popular, but guys, you're supposed to remember Java, that's so hard. For example, for me, so what's like, for example, I learned like a couple years ago, and that's like, I remember like it took me so many times. Right now, when I'm not using this one, I just forgot about this one, and it's so complicated. It's just, guys, just not for everyone. Not everyone will be able to handle the Java. I know a lot of person who starts and then quit from the Java, like, and switch to the Python or just JavaScript or something else. So you're supposed to be also ready to this decision. One day will came to your head and you said, no, I don't want to do Java. Like, it's too much for me. So once you will have this experience in QA, you will see like maybe different automation stacks. So you will see it. But you know, like each and every person so unique. So I cannot give recommendation for like when I don't know how you will be in manual QA. So Yeah, Java is popular. If you will be able to handle it, yes, why not? I know like a lot of, like also I know persons who's like really successful with automation on C#, for example. Also, it's like maybe not so popular as Java, but it's also like hard and really well paid for like for this knowledge. So focus on how to get first job, not what you will be automate and what stack you will be using.
Marina, can you describe the release day and what kind of testing if we do after release, or how
Release day?
Yes.
Okay, so release day. Yeah, guys, let me show you what this one also. So yeah, guys, remember. So that's before I will start release. I really want you to remember, like life cycle of iteration testing may vary in each project. That's what I mentioned. For example, everything like what you demo during the demo meeting, they will say no, do something else, not this one. So during the of this task is not fixed prescription, it's intended to be merely indicative. So sometimes task may end sooner, sometimes they will spill over the end of the iteration. So remember, so sprint, like sometimes it's 2 weeks, but that's the not mandatory option. So be ready for any upcoming changes. So how usually release day is going and how it happens. So usually, guys, I don't know how it will be in your company, but we're trying to keep the culture to not release on Monday and to not release on Friday. Friday, that's understandable, yeah? Because if something is wrong, like our weekend is just totally broken. So we're trying to not do this on Friday. And on Monday, because sometimes if it was some work on during the weekend from the developers or even from QA team side, so and do release on Monday, it's too much. So we're trying to do this between Tuesday or Thursday, but that's like right now. Before in my first job, like release day was only Wednesday, like 5:45 a.m. So why it was 5:45 a.m.? Because I was working in New York Daily News. So that's the media company newspaper. And our prime time started like 8 a.m. So we're supposed to like start release early in the morning to release our feature to production and do quick after release verification to make sure nothing is broken. And if something is broken, we still will have a time until 8 o'clock. If it's something small to make a hot fix, I will explain what does it mean, and fix everything before prime time. So how it usually happens. The day before release, whole team receiving the release notes. Guys, do you know what does it release notes means?
They decide to go or not, maybe?
So that's the kind of overview of the sprint. So in this release notes, that's usually email for like whole company, people who really involved in like development in the project. So that's the list of the feature, what was implemented, or maybe some high level bug fixes from the previous sprint. So that's the release notes. So before release day, you already like tested everything and set it up, all your Jira tickets to the status to be deployed, guys. Do you understand what does it mean to be deployed? Means it's ready for deployment. So in some companies, it's just closed status, but from my understanding, just to be deployed, it's more correct. So just came, like, depends on like schedule in your company, you came and just waiting for the announcement somewhere, maybe by email, but usually that's the like in Slack channel, like some developers will say, okay, changes right now live on production. After he's saying this one, person in a product who is on charge sending all tickets, which was already set it up by QA team to be deployed, with the status deployed to production to the QA team. and you're supposed to pick up this ticket from the QA bucket and verify this feature on production. So what you guys supposed to do first? First, you're supposed to go through all your tickets with a new features. So, for example, you added new button or new credit card or some new functionality, maybe like vertical scroll or horizontal scroll or new section to your application, so new item, anything. So first you go to the tickets in the Jira and closing those Jiras, make sure new functionality implemented and work like in a proper way. That's what you guys doing first. But also, if you like see that you will have many tickets, like for example, sometimes there is like 2 tickets, sometimes it's 10, sometimes it's 20. So when you see there is a lot of tickets with a new functionality, first you have to do smoke release, like smoke test on production. So just open application, make sure it loads, like content layout also loaded like properly. So just do quick smoke test to make sure production environment is working. So click maybe on some buttons, like just log into the application. So do quick smoke test. So, and after this one, you have to do this Jira closing, I would say. I would name this one process. So, and this Jira closing, I would name after release verification. So you're supposed to go one by one and verify that each functionality on production work as expected. So, and you go one by one and close and one by one, make sure everything is fine.
So that's, excuse me, I think I missed this. So that will be separate tickets from the ones that we actually worked on. It will be after like...
No, that will be the same ticket.
The same tickets. Yeah. But I thought, so we moved them into deploy and then they moved farther on the pipeline, right? That's how it works, or how like they moved. Like in Jira, there will be another after they were deployed. There will be another bucket that would say after release verification.
There will be no bucket. Field will be the same. This just status will change it. Like just a ticket was to be deployed, and then like the status of the ticket. Like when it was ready for UAT, just will be deployed to production.
Yes.
With the status deployed for production is coming back to you to QA.
Oh, okay, I see.
And once you validate it, you will be closing this ticket, and then status will be closed.
Oh, I see. Okay, thank you.
So once it's closed, you're good. But what, guys, will happen if you found that something on production doesn't work or new bug? In this case, you're supposed to have 2 options. Or if that's the issue related to the Jira, like new feature, and for example, you validated this Jira on QA environment, but on production it doesn't work, you just reopening this ticket and send it back to product or developer. That depends on the process in your company, how it's like tickets supposed to be reassigned, with a note that this feature doesn't work or on production, and explaining your steps. If it's a new issue, you're supposed to create new bug report and send it the same to the development or to the product. And also you're supposed to notify everyone, like in your Slack channels, that guys, I found this issue, and provide the link to your issue to the Slack channel. So if it's like something minor, cosmetic, it might not be hard to fix it this day. But if this issue prioritized by you as a critical, it's supposed to be fixed the same day. And this fix we will be called hot fix. Mean as after release, if something is really bad and we're supposed to fix it ASAP, that's called hot fix. This one word, hot fix. So what's happening after this? So once developer fixes the issue, you're supposed to do the same. Verify on QA, set it up as to be deployed. Developers push these changes to production. Then ticket coming back to you with the status deployed to production, and you have to do, again, quick smoke, and then this verification of this Jira. So that's how hotfix works. But guys, when hotfix happen after release, what can I say? It's not really good. Not only for QA, also for development. No one really will blame you yet that you missed something, but yeah, everyone will understand that probably QA next time supposed to do a little bit better. And that will be lesson for you, how you will be handled in this situation to avoid the situation in the future. So that's the other question to you, how to avoid the situation. So, but usually here people nice and they understand that it's not always possible to test everything. Sometimes there is like, guys, also I can tell you, for example, you all using Facebook, yeah, Instagram, so social share, we can say. So what I can tell you, in my experience, this social share, for example, you want to share the link to your application somewhere on Facebook or to Instagram. So this one, social share, it's impossible to validate on QA environment. Real validation possible only or on production, or your developer is supposed to spend a year to build this in QA tool, which will be emulated like Facebook or Instagram functionality, which is requires tons of work. So social share, it's really hard to test on QA. So sometimes there is an issue, but everyone is aware. So if this happens, it's usually sometimes requires a hot fix or how to avoid this. We're just trying to work with the Facebook, with the YouTube, with the Instagram to find out the code structure or what we can do to avoid this issue in the future. So that's how it's worked. Questions, guys?
Yeah, what's the difference between task and story? In our case, it looks like the same in Jira.
Task and story?
Yeah.
Kind of the same. Kind of the same. Usually that's the just story or task. Depends on like preference in your company. We're just trying to do task, but and story, we just put in like user story in the description. Like as a user, I want to see this functionality on my page. That's the like the story how it looks like. But no, you're right. It's not really different. So I mean that's the difference thing. But you can see the story ticket with a story type or task type will be the same.
Okay, I got it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, guys, so next. So let's do a quick recap. So what QA is doing? So yeah, QA key tasks done on day-to-day basis include, and remember this one, so gather requirement specification, documentation, it's on us too, touch base with the developers and product, which is most important and actually really nice because you will learn from product and development like a lot. So if they want and they like really want to share the knowledge, yeah, be grateful for this one. So write test condition and test cases, run test cases, definitely discover bug and reports, and retest, guys, retest, that will be your everything. So fix, retest, fix, find, fix, retest, find, fix, retest. So that's your fix is not yours, but I mean fix coming to your bucket. So that's you actually what will be your lifestyle. So guys, and yeah, that's the kind of interview preparation, but I want you to remember this one. What makes a good QA engineer? Communication. That's the top. You're supposed to know how to communicate. So as more organizations have turned into the agile process, this means that department no longer like functional like individual department, like slots. So QA engineers can expect not only speak and work with the developers, like with product team, business team, like stakeholders and users. So QA should be everywhere, not just only sitting like between monitor, laptop, and work with the teammates and developers. So yeah, having the ability to communicate with both technical and non-technical people just is necessary. You're supposed to understand what products want from you and how the users will accept this feature. So you're supposed to be everywhere. Yeah, not everyone has what it takes to be QA engineer. So knowing how to speak, and that's my favorite, how to be an advocate for your team is not like definitely equipped with. So solid QA engineer is someone who understands the complete development process. So software development lifecycle. I hope you're already pro in this one. So yeah, user QA will be able to handle multitask, will be creative, and definitely analytical thinker. So definitely it will help you to promote yourself, your teamwork, and yeah, you with your communication and everything else, you will be increasing productivity of cooperation between your team and developers, your team and product, and company overall, like business teams. So while it can be like denied, the part of the QA engineer also requires testing and reporting bugs, and then doing it again and again. So be patient with this one. It also demands the necessary skill set to take on like additional roles and responsibilities within whole IT team. So QA engineer roles does not just make one of the part of software development lifecycle. It's like entire length of the cycle. From beginning to the end, you have to expect to play more important role. So it could be happens like any moment. So yeah, don't be surprised when your role be expanded like to the product. You can take some additional responsibility from the product side, or maybe help something extra to the developer. So that's like definitely what I want to say, guys. So yeah, that's just a part of what it means to be QA engineer today. You just not testing, reporting the bugs. You're supposed to be something more if you want to be successful. So you're supposed to understand the product feature. You're supposed to try to be more technical to understand like maybe how to help developers to find out the issue more quickly, maybe with additional logs, with additional technical knowledge from your side. So yeah, you're supposed to be multitasking and definitely a person who will be thinking out of the box. That's only one way how to be successful and how to get a nice job. Okay, so from my presentation, I think that's it here. So your QA, your homework. So guys, so I hope right now it may be a little bit clear to you, more clear. So each of you supposed to do like something similar to this one, only for yourself. That's not a ticket, that's the optional task, but who wants to try, please welcome. So try to do the same like 10 days of your life, and just be prepared to answer a question for any day from the sprint. For example, you might be asked, okay, like in the middle of the sprint, what guys you actually doing? And you already like have an answer for this one. So try to prepare the same like presentation for yourself. And definitely learning. Just remember what was done during the bootcamp, like how's your sprint, like what ticket you were working on, like what challenges, like how was the process, how was your stand-up, so approximate time, duration, how many people in your team. So please answer those all questions to yourself first. So you're doing it for yourself. So please be ready to answer. Okay, guys, and we have like maybe 3 more minutes to answer the questions.
Marina,
Okay,
can I
guys.
ask you a question?
Sure.
Marina,
Yeah.
Marina, I have a conversation today with HR,
Mm-hmm.
and I think so, and she mentioned some definitions like traceability matrix, test plan. We need somebody who will be responsible for this.
Okay.
So I remember that we have something for statistic, I believe, in Jira build down chart. Can I like something for statistic like this option that exists in Jira build down chart, or what is actually traceability matrix? It is something that is exists inside of test plan. So as I understand, traceability matrix is some kind of matrix which cover all the test cases and what kind of functionality was done.
Yeah, functionality, cross-browser, cross-devices, that's everything include traceability matrix. And like second answer for your question, guys, so this Wednesday, with me, like I will be like a backup just in case, or maybe you will have some additional questions to me. So this Wednesday, you will be having class with our new teacher, Billy. He is also like experienced QA engineer, and he's also will be covering some interview question, what probably wasn't covered with you before. So like I made like a research, I checked what was already given to you. So, and I collected a lot of interview question from students from our bootcamp. So that's all from our students came, like it's real interview question and like from real companies. I asked my colleagues what they asking during the interview. So I collected those questions. So, and Billy will be teaching you those question and answers. So for the Wednesday, please be prepared, like be really active during the class, guys, because what I wanted to do with you. So right now you know a lot to get a first job, but like what I'm like hearing sometimes, you're not really, how I say, you, some of you like really shy. So guys, forget about everything. Please be really active during those classes when it's like answer and question. So he will be giving you a question, and with like you supposed to immediately say an answer or like type an answer if you have a time. Like definitely not everyone in one time, but if you know the answer, please definitely answer. So I would, because you know guys, like interview might happen with you tomorrow, so you're supposed to be prepared, like you know like under this unexpected condition. So during the interview no one will wait for you, so you're supposed to be like do it like fast. So during the Wednesday, please try to be active and answer the like question, like okay. So and this question traceability matrix also will be covered. So don't worry, you will get an answer.
Thank you.
Can you provide this presentation, please?
This one, okay. Just a second. Question from the chat. For statistic, yeah, that you already mentioned this one, so that you should put in your resume and will be provided. Okay, so guys, nobody provide your ticket about the company? Did you saw the ticket, like video about the company and presentation about the company? No?
No?
No, I don't remember.
No, we don't have.
You don't have the company name. And okay.
Not yet. Not all, not yet.
Okay, guys, you will have this ticket like tomorrow or today, like tomorrow. Yeah, I will be give you all this information, so you will have a ticket. So, guys, about the mentoring sessions. You guys went to the mentoring session with Dennis and Evgeny. Did they check your resume?
I will have tomorrow morning with Dennis.
Okay, so before, guys, yeah, so maybe I will even post it right now, not wait to the like, and you will be adding this data if you have a session with Dennis tomorrow. So I will probably post right now after the class this video and presentation about the company in the general channel. Okay, guys, pay attention.
Thanks so much.
Okay. I thought you already were given this.
So I have a question.
Mhm.
Are you talking about the company we have to use in the resume?
Yes.
So are we all team using the same company?
As for now, yes.
Guys, tell, I don't remember who, Dennis or Evgeny, tell what they will provide two companies, one in-house, other I don't know.
That's in development. Once we will know, guys, you still here and we still here, so we will figure out this question. As for now, yes. Don't worry, guys. Even if we have like 10 people in LA with the same like company in after the current course, that's fine. LA, that's the huge city, so don't worry. It's like thousands of IT companies, so there is possibility you will see someone. But guys, and actually I know the students from the previous class, they're really helpful with the hiring our like new students, so don't worry.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, so I will post, yeah, and also I need your opinion about this presentation. Just honest opinion. That's like, I just like did this presentation during the weekend, so maybe I need to add something, maybe, so your opinion is welcome. In your opinion, like I'm fine with any opinion, so I will post this presentation in general, and I will post right now a video and presentation about the company, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, guys.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay. So, guys, yeah. So,
Thank you very much.
Wednesday you will see Billy, and I will be also like as a backup just in case. But I hope everything will be fine. So, yeah, guys, I'll see you all like Wednesday, and yeah, enjoy the rest of your Monday.
Thank you.
Okay, see you.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.